Welcome to the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast, where we don't take from insurance companies. Here are your hosts, Mr. Jordan Comstock and Mr. Ben Tuine. This podcast is sponsored by BoomCloud Dental Membership Software, www.boomcloudapps.com, and Veritas Dental Resources, www.veritasdentalresources.com. Enjoy the show.
Welcome to another episode of the Navigating Dental Insurance Podcast. I am your co-host today, Jordan Comstock. With me, I got Mr. Ben Tuine. Ben, what is up, dog?
What's up, Jordan? Forgive me, I'm suffering from a flu/cold or something, so I'm not going to be 100% today.
And you came on the show today. You're committed, dude.
I haven't stopped working. I've been working all over the weekend, and that's the best way to kick something, man. Like, you feel sick, you just got to keep going,
keep grinding.
A lot of people think I'm stupid, but honestly, I feel much better today. Yesterday, I was so sick, but I have so much church responsibility that I just couldn't neglect it. I'm like, no, I'm committed to that stuff. I got to get that stuff done. And my wife was just saying, you stay in bed. And I'm like, no, I can't.
Yeah, I totally ditch out. That's what I would do. I don't know why you did it. Whatever, dude. So today,
I don't want to burn in hell is the reason why.
That's awesome. So today we have an awesome guest, another Utahn. His name is Aaron or Aaron. Aaron Boone. And he's from MVP Mailhouse. I've known Aaron for quite some time. We've got together in the past years ago and collaborated on some projects. But Aaron grew up milking goats on his family's small farm. He played pro football for 9 years. Organizes global humanitarian projects. He's fluent in Spanish. And for the last 7 years, has pioneered analytics-based dental direct mail, which is pretty cool. And that's the topic that we're going to be talking about today on marketing with direct mail. Welcome to the show, Aaron, or Aaron.
Hey, thanks for having me, guys. I'm excited to be on. Thank you.
Yeah, dude.
That's impressive, Aaron. Nine years in the NFL is impressive. Dude. Most people, what's the average? 3 years?
Well, let me clarify that. It wasn't 9 years. Although I did play 9 years professionally. I played in NFL Europe for a few seasons in Germany.
Oh, wow.
I started out with the Dallas Cowboys, and my only real claim to fame. So if I lasted 9 years, I would definitely not have to get a real job. I would have been rich and famous like Tom Brady, but that didn't happen. But I did start out with the Dallas Cowboys, and Tony Romo and Jason Witten were my roommates during training camp. That's my only claim to fame. We were all rookies together. And
nice.
Then from there, I went to Chicago. I went to the Carolina Panthers. I played in NFL Europe, and then Bon Jovi was my boss. I played arena football for a couple seasons. I lived in Philadelphia, and then Utah got a team, and I was able to come back home and play my last few years for a team called the Utah Blaze at the time in the Arena Football League. Yeah. And I had a blast. Got to play a long time and make a living doing it, and then reality sunk in. I had to get a real job, so here I am.
And you stuck with dentistry, which is awesome. Some history for you, Aaron, for the Utah Blaze. When I worked at my dad's dental lab, we used to make those guys all custom night guards, or not night guards,
really?
Mouth guards. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
The mouthpieces. Yeah. Well, I'm sure I probably have one. In fact, I was actually looking for one last night because I keep getting this TMJ stuff. My teeth are. I don't know if it's just overworked or what, but I've been having these jaw issues, and my father-in-law's a dentist, and he's like, just go find one of your old mouthpieces. So I was actually looking last night for probably one you guys made me.
Yeah, probably. Yeah. So we did those every year with one of our local dental practices here in Utah. They had the contract, and then we had the contract with the practice, and we did Blaze mouth guards for years. That's funny. That's funny, dude. So
a fun, interesting fact about Aaron is he's probably the only guest on this podcast that has a Wikipedia profile. We Google Aaron Boone. You can find him on Wikipedia.
Well, clear that up too, Ben. First, you will get the baseball player that's much more famous for the Yankees. Then, if you type in Aaron R. Boone, you actually find this small section about me.
You were the first one that came up. So you were born January 13th, 1978, age 41, Provo, Utah. High school is Fillmore, Utah. I mean, everything's on here.
Just throw my social security number out there too.
Your
like
social, your zip, your passcode for your bank account. Wow, everything's on here, man.
That is crazy. It's like we're talking to a celebrity right here.
Far from, my friend. Far from a celebrity.
And now, Aaron, you're up in Heber now, right?
Yeah, live up in Heber. We moved up here about 6 years ago, and just really love it. My wife's like borderline hippie. She loves the mountains and rock climbing and anything backpacking related or just outdoor related. She loves dirt, so this was a great place for us. And yeah, we're trying to come out of hibernation. This winter's been a pretty brutal one up here, but
I bet up there,
excited
man.
for spring.
Gosh. yeah, I would be too excited for spring if I were you. So cool. Let's get into it. So you're the expert with direct mail. I've known you for a few years now, and it seems like you've dedicated your skill set on helping practices optimize direct mail, and especially the analytic based direct mail. I'm interested in having you speak on that with our audience. But today I want to talk about a lot of my practices that I work with at BoomCloud. A lot of them are interested in using direct mail marketing to grow their dental membership programs. So I do want to talk a portion of or pick your brain for a portion of the interview today on how a practice can use direct mail marketing to grow their dental membership program. So give us some tips here. Give us some pointers on that.
Yeah, well, right. So just, take a little bit of a step back just in marketing in general.
Yeah.
I've had it. Oh, sorry, what was that?
I just said, go ahead. Yeah. You're good.
Okay. So yeah, to kind of take a little bit of step back is, as I look at marketing, as I've worked with practices across the country, I've literally talked with thousands of offices over the years, and our business model is pretty simple. I want to do one thing for one industry and do it ridiculously better than anyone else.
Yeah, I love that.
There's a lot of marketing companies out there that do a little bit of everything. They do some things better than others. I just want to do one thing and just blow it out of the water. And that's kind of our business model that we approach direct mail. People always ask, why don't you get in online? Why don't you do SEO or websites? And I keep kind of coming back to this that I just want to blow people away when it comes to what we do in this space, because I do believe in other forms of marketing. Absolutely, you should have a great online strategy and website and all these other things that go along with it. I don't live under a rock. Some people, isn't that archaic? Do people still do direct mail? And surprisingly, as I've tracked results over the last 6-7 years, as these response rates continue to grow, for a number of factors that are happening out there. But direct mail is alive and well in 2019, and it's doing exceptionally well for offices. But to kind of dive a little bit into that is how I look at a dental practice, and as an office, grows, some of the limitations in growth are, if you're just relying on people to find you, that's dangerous. And I always tell every office I talk to, your number one source of new patients should be really internal, that you're getting referrals and you're growing and you're taking care of people that come into you. That's good, right? You're taking care of people.
Yeah.
The beauty of marketing, and specifically direct mail, is I can get you in front of new networks of people, people that don't know your current patients. Because if your patients are out there referring you, that's great. But what about the people that don't know your patients? And that's where we really specialize. And I've spent years of working in this and mailing over 100 million postcards and tracking the results of every one of them, every call that comes to the office, the homes that we're targeting, different designs, different times of the year, different weeks within a month. How do you mail around holidays? There's a lot to it that people just kind of brush over and just say, hey, let's just design a card and throw it out there and see what sticks. And I think that's where, the devil's really in the details of how you can piece this together. And because every little thing has a percentage attached to it. Yeah. And my background in sports taught me, if anyone's seen Moneyball out there with Brad Pitt, one of my celebrity crushes, he talks, it's about analytics. And, when I got out of football and got into marketing, I was surprised. These docs are spending all this money on marketing, and they have no idea if they had one call or 100 calls. There was no accountability.
Yeah.
And that's where we've evolved, a really analytical-based approach because every one of these has a statistic or an analytic behind it. The day of the week that you hit homes. Was the phone call even answered when it hit your front desk? Are you pushing more, in-house type plans? Or are you pushing just for insurance type patients or fee-for-service patients? I mean, every offer that you put on a card will drive a different type caller. Mm-hmm. So, sorry, I feel like I'm a little long-winded here.
But, no, this is great. This is great.
There's some really great information and strategy behind all these things. And if an office is doing direct mail, let's say even on their own, and they have any level of success, man, then I feel like I can totally blow it out of the water from what they've done. And then on the flip side of it, I have a lot of offices, sometimes I'll call them, have you ever done direct mail? A couple years ago when I first opened up, how did it do? Not so well. And my first question always is, well, which part didn't work? And this is where I kind of people step up on their, are on their heels a little bit. Well, which part didn't work? Was it the design? Was it the size of the card you mailed? Was it the homes you targeted? Was it the day of the week you hit homes? Was it the calls came in and your front desk didn't answer them or did a really poor job on scheduling them?
Yeah.
You see what I mean? There's so many variables. Or did they come in? Yeah, or did they not show up for their appointment? Or did they show up but not accept treatment? So what I've tried, to build is I want an all-inclusive solution that makes this really easy for a dentist that doesn't have time to think about the details of these things.
Yeah.
Because we do, and we've thought through them all, and we've worked through them all over the years in refining this process. So there's a short elevator or a long elevator pitch.
It was the 13th floor elevator pitch. What when you talk about analytic based direct mail, what are the main metrics that you're tracking for the practices? You mentioned a few just barely, but what are the main metrics that you're looking at for success, to understand success?
Yeah, great question. So, it's our job to get the phone to ring, right? If I can't get new patients calling, well, then obviously something's not working on the front end. Either the design we're mailing, the piece that we mail, is not engaging enough to get a response, or something happening there. So number one metric is how many opportunities are we bringing to that office? Okay, every one of our postcards has a unique local call tracking number on it. Uh-huh. So when a homeowner gets the card, they call the number on it, it rings right to the office seamlessly. For those that don't understand call tracking, rings right to your office seamlessly. Your front desk answers the call just like any other call. They don't know the difference from any other place until they ask, how'd you hear about us? And they say the postcard. So every call is recorded, number one. Then where it gets really cool is within 24 hours, my team actually listens to that recording. We listen to 100% of the calls that come to our offices. It's not that exciting, I promise.
Yeah, I was going to say, that's like makes it easy for you to take a nap during the day.
Yeah, no, it's not that exciting. But now just the postcard calls. I don't listen to your main line and stuff like that. Okay, just the postcard calls. Okay, so these are all new incoming calls. Someone that got the postcard or the mail piece that we mailed, they call from it. It rings right to the office. And we look at it for a couple of things. We listen to them because here's the thing. How can I give you advice if I don't know if you had one call or 100 calls? Right? Yeah, uh-huh. Like we're blind. It would be awesome for the marketing company if there was no accountability. Right? Like it's like playing pro football and they're paying you, but they don't look at your stats. That would be great.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I'd take $1 million and they don't look at my stats. So awesome. There's some variables. So that's number one is opportunities coming to the office. Number two is if they schedule on that recording, we jot down everything that happened on that call. So did somebody schedule? What's their name, date of appointment? And this is helpful because you would be surprised how many times we listen to recordings and the front desk will say, well, great, Tiffany, how'd you hear about us? Oh, I drive past your office on the way to work. They're literally holding a postcard in their hand, calling from a tracking number, and they still will say something random.
Yeah,
like
that makes sense.
Oh, I think I saw you online. They're literally holding a postcard. So the front desk
you're
sometimes
tracking it, right? You're tracking a number.
Right.
So you know.
Right. That number
funny.
Exists nowhere else. That number literally exists nowhere else. So we know they're calling from that. So it helps us at the end of our campaign. We actually do an audit where we compare what you guys reported in your practice management software. We run like a new patient report over the last 3 months or something, depending on the time frame. And we audit it versus our call log and all the names and phone numbers that we've heard or recorded, and we audit those, and almost every time there's an extra 20 to 30% of callers that scheduled that the office doesn't even know were from the postcard. Almost always. They'll put Facebook or drove past or word of mouth where I have a physical recording of the person calling. So why is that important? Well, the office still is getting benefit, and that's great. They're coming there. But when we re-strategize and we retarget maybe your hottest neighborhoods, where you're getting your best response from, what offers are people asking about on that card? And that's where the in-house plan really has just skyrocketed, and that's why I'm really glad you have me on here. Is, I'm noticing also on our postcard designs, if we really beef up that in-house plan and put it on the
messaging.
What I want messaging on it, where people can kind of get their arms around it. Because what I have seen is I've seen a lot of front desk really stumble through introducing it.
Absolutely.
Because we listen to those recordings, and the clearer it can be delivered, and sometimes with a little text on the postcard, it kind of helps the front desk kind of get through it a little better.
Yeah.
But I see a lot of these callers with so many people, not interested in continuing on their insurance or losing dental insurance. The plan I've really seen is a solution. Now on the postcard, I still want to feature. I want an offer, and this is a lot of people ask me about offers. Well, what offer works? You see free whitening every card you've ever seen, or a $49 exam X-ray cleaning, right? Or exam and X-ray. You've seen those over and over and over again. So when I look at offers, what I want the postcard to have is I want something that resonates with as many people possible. So I get calls sometimes like, hey, I just want to feature my implant. Now I'm doing implants, or I just want to feature Invisalign, or these bigger cases, right? Try to swing for the fences, so to speak. Well, what about the person that needs 3 crowns who just looked over your card because they think you're just an implant specialist?
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? So I like to have an offer that speaks to all these audiences. One that speaks to the insurance world, for example. If you're still filing on 50-60% of your people, well, you still should probably have an offer for some of those people, right? But the other 40% of your practice, or however your dynamics are, is fee-for-service folks. Well, you need something that resonates with them. And that's where I really see the in-house plan tie in nicely, because we will get calls and they'll specifically ask right on that first call, hey, tell me about your in-house plan. I just lost my insurance. Or tell me your in-house plan. I'm thinking about dropping mine.
Yeah.
And those kind of things are super helpful in resonating with your audience and specifically driving those calls. So offers are a huge factor in what we put together on the design.
Yeah, no, and I would agree, because I've seen, some of our most successful practices here at BoomCloud, when they're, trying to grow their membership programs, we always tell them to use some type of marketing, channel. This particular practice that I'm thinking of has close to 2,000 members that are paying them monthly fees. I think the practice charges $25 a month for their monthly, and like $200 a year for their yearly. They've got close to 2,000 members, and the majority of those members came through direct mail marketing, right? Which,
great.
Like most our successful practices are doing that, right? They use direct mail to grow because you can tap into other networks, like you mentioned earlier, Aaron.
Yep.
You can tap into networks that you're not, that you don't have reach, unless you, yeah. So that's
well, I think just a quick comment on that, Jordan, is what I see is online is absolutely. I want good reviews. I want a good website. I want all of these things.
Of course.
But typically what I see as an online network is it's more retroactive. You're kind of waiting for people to find you.
Yeah.
And the beauty of direct mail is you're proactively putting yourself in front of these people. Now, is everyone going to call? No. In fact, I'm the first one to say, you hear, oh, it's junk mail. I just throw it away. That's fine. In fact, 9,900, you can mail 10,000 cards and 9,980 can throw it away. The 20 that don't just made you a lot of money.
Yeah.
Because now you're in those homes, those families, and now they're going to start referring their networks and their coworkers and things like that. And that's what's really cool about actually tracking the back end is my offices don't have to guess how well it worked. I will show them all 20 of those homes that responded, their names, and then 3 months from now, all the other family members that have came from them, friends, referrals, etc. And now it's not an expense; it's a huge
investment.
ROI producer.
Yeah,
well, it's an investment into your practice. So
I think it's safe to say, Aaron, that we can say the same thing about just online stuff too. Not 100% of patients surfing the web looking for practices are gonna call the office. It's probably got similar results where you get 1,000 people finding the practice online, but only 20 of them call, right? Or some stat like that. I would think I think that's pretty common in all marketing channels and not just direct mail. So by using multiple channels to market your practice, I think that's the best strategy in my opinion.
Yeah, no, absolutely. They all kind of work together. There's not just one, silver magic bullet that an office should be doing.
No,
you should be looking at an overall approach to drive them in. But I do recognize that you should find what is producing best and invest more dollars there, regardless of what that source is. Can you invest more dollars in some of these forms? In some of these areas, you simply can't. There's only some of these online. You can only put so much into Facebook or so much into pay-per-clicks and some of these things, and that's where this is a nice supplement, is to hit these new audiences. And one thing that's really you got me thinking about that is, so one of the first steps, we've worked really hard building a really cool tool that we call Map IQ. And what it does is, when I first talk with an office, is rather than just guess where to mail postcards, and this is what I see industry-wide, when someone does direct mail, they kind of draw a circle around their office, and they say, okay, let's mail to close 2-mile radius or a 4-mile radius or whatever it is. The problem is patients don't migrate in a perfect circle to your office. And it's not like, okay, I'm within a 2.5-mile radius, I'm coming to this practice. And it's just not the way that works. And so one of the things that we've built with MapIQ that's really cool is, when I talk to an office on the front end, is I'll have them get into their practice management software, and I got instructions for all of them pretty much, and basically we pull a report of their new patients over the last few years. I like to look at 2 to 3 years worth of data, just their new patients, and I have them export their addresses. I don't need names, I don't need production, but one thing specifically I can look at is if they want to include, if they're fee-for-service or in-house plan or insurance, if they keep that, then what I do is I go in and we pin drop where all their new patients are coming from. So you can visibly kind of get a lay of the land with pin drops. And I color code them based on the type of patient they are. I have some offices that are even like a Medicaid. I can color them one color. I can color insurance-based or fee-for-service, whatever it is for that particular office. And that's where it's kind of helpful, because as I look at real fee-for-service practices, well, where are these guys coming from as opposed to your insurance patients? Because we want to really beef up that membership plan when we mail to these certain neighborhoods. So the reason we do that is where, I've mailed, like I said, millions and millions of cards. Where I find the best results is targeting the neighbors and the neighborhoods of your current patients. They're typically like-minded people. Think about your neighborhood. You typically have like-minded people, similar income, similar demographics, similar home values, all those kind of things. And it's also helpful because I work with a lot of dental offices that, I don't know, sometimes we kind of drink our own Kool-Aid and we think we're a certain type of practice or that we resonate with these certain type of patients. But when you actually pin drop them out and look at the demographics, it might not be exactly what you think you are, and that's okay. We just need to be realistic about it. Hey, this is where my patient base is coming from. Let's target these areas. Now, I also want to look at new neighborhoods and areas for growth as well. We run a new mover data too, to kind of look at where your fastest growing neighborhoods are as well, because those people will be choosing a dentist within 6 months, according to Zillow. People will choose a new dentist as they move in. Okay. So we kind of do a hybrid. One, I want to target the neighbors of your current patients, of your best, hottest areas. And it's interesting, as I run these pin drops, there's practices that literally a block to the east, and they haven't had a patient in 3 years. But you go to the west, and there's hundreds of them, literally within a half mile, a mile. So understanding geographical barriers is a huge piece in direct mail. Interstates, rivers, all these things play the other side of the track, so to speak. It's important to understand that, because it's going to save you a lot of money. by not mailing to those areas. And once you kind of get ahead and you're playing on house money, then we can look at experimenting in some of these newer areas, but there is higher risk.
Yeah.
And that's why I like play into the analytics first.
No, I think that's smart. It's a very different approach, to direct mail that I've ever seen. I have a question. So in regards to growing dental membership programs, a lot of practices will target through direct mail like 55 and up communities because they're more likely to have retirement aged couples and people in the community, and they typically don't have dental insurance. Have you ever seen a practice use that strategy with your service, or is that something new to you?
Yeah, no, I've literally tried just about every type of mailing list, every type of data, every type of size of card.
I was going to say, you probably
can
done
imagine.
everything. Yeah. Yeah. So,
and we track it all, so we don't have to guess, because what sounds good to you and I might not be what actually works.
Yeah,
and
exactly.
I actually just had a conversation this morning, with an office out in Minnesota, and that was the conversation. I know this design, it might not make sense to you per se, but this is what resonates. And it was an office that had never mailed. He'd been there for 30 years. So it was, a little kind of set in his ways a little bit, so to speak, and never done it. But, sometimes it is a bit of a, leap of faith of trusting the analytics, trusting the stats, so
Absolutely,
to speak.
Yeah.
But to your point, yes, you're absolutely right. That senior population
it's
responds
good to segment
really well.
Yeah.
But I also like to keep it. There's also a lot of really good neighborhoods that could be in between there, and there's plenty of younger I'm like Ben had mentioned. He read my stat sheet there. I'm 41, so I'm right in the middle. I got 4 little kids, and I'm living the zoo life right now.
Me too, brother.
Running around with kids and trying to keep up with work and all the other things that are on your plate. But at the same point is, there's people just like me that don't have dental insurance also.
I'm in that same boat. I don't have dental insurance.
And an in-house plan. So you look at business owners who are, live in some of these communities too. They're not going to be a 50. They're not on a 55 plus list.
Totally.
But a perfect candidate.
Well, and then if you think about it, business owners like you and I, they may have other employees that probably don't have dental insurance because they're small business owners, or they don't like dental insurance like me. And if you can get business owners attracted through direct mail, then they're more, they may end up signing their whole team up to your dental membership program.
No, that's true.
That's kind of
that's true. So I like leaving it a little more open rather than get too. I'm not a big fan of lists because I've used them all and they're never that accurate. There's no one knocking on a door every day. Hey, are you 65? Okay, perfect. You're on my list.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And it is scary how good data is at the same time. Don't get me wrong. It's scary what you can actually find out there in these homes and neighborhoods. But you want to be careful and not get too dialed in on this is the magic list, so to speak.
Yeah, okay.
Because remember, it's a numbers game. If you're mailing to 5,000 or 10,000 homes, like I said, you only need 10 or 20 homes to respond, and it's going to be extremely profitable. So,
that's a good point.
And there's different situations in every home. There's different needs. You're going to get 1 or 2 emergency calls just because you randomly hit the home on the right time.
Yeah.
I'll be the first one to admit that. And there's no strategy in that. You just happen to hit them at the right time. Where other ones, it is a strategic approach, and they hit all of these goals that you had set out. This is the type of home we want to hit. This is the income range and all those things. But it's keeping that kind of a broader approach, I think, but making sure you're hitting the right neighborhoods in general. And proximity to practice is seriously one of the most important criteria, because you can have the perfect family, but if they're too far away, they're just not going to come to you. It's too hard. Now, if they come to you and like you
and have good experience,
sure. Yeah, they'll drive 20 miles, or if they're a referral from a friend or family member, they'll drive way further. But initially, for direct mail, we want to stay closer to home, closer to the practice.
And then, when it comes to frequency, do you send messages every month? What do you recommend? What have you seen out there with your analytics? What's the best practices there?
Good question. So it really depends on the practice. And this is one thing that we've really worked hard to make sure that we never have this cookie cutter approach that you're just stuck doing this because this. So I look at every office individually. But I guess in a bigger perspective, so it depends on the area. So if there's just one particular zone, for example, you can't keep mailing to the same home every single month and expect it not to start getting diminishing returns or oversaturation, and you start getting calls, hey, can you stop mailing me stuff? You know what I mean? So typically what I like to see, so depending on where your practice is too, as far as like if you're a grand opening versus a 30-year-old practice that's been there for a long time. And you'll be surprised how few people actually know of your practice. I'll talk to I've been here 30 years. Everybody knows me in town, but that's not actually true. There's a different strategy, but in general, what I kind of sign up an initial office typically for, put together an initial plan, is for 3 different areas that we're going to target. So mailing 1 would go out month 1, let's say April 1st, it hits homes. And then I like to go to the second area normally within around a month later. So 4 to 6 weeks later, kind of depends on the office's budget, cash flow, and also their schedule. Because the beauty of direct mail is you get calls day 1, but people don't want to schedule 3-4 weeks out. You're going to have more no-shows. They want to be able to be seen within a week or 2 because they're excited. They just got your piece. They just called the schedule, and this is your first, I guess, look at them. It's your first, this first experience to really earn their long-term business and start to get those referrals and stuff like that. So it kind of depends on that, but typically you'd look at that, and then mailing number 3, 4 to 6 weeks after that. So over 3 months, you would hit each area once, and each mailing has its own tracking number. So I know exactly who calls from the first area, second, or third. Even if they call 3 months from now or 6 months from now, I'll know it was from your first mailing in April, not August or September.
So it's important to, if they're doing direct mail, to track every type of message and every campaign, really. So you know what's working.
We may adjust the design. The design changes too. You have, right now with kind of more of the tax return side, I see more fee-for-service calls right now, just, in-house plan calls, because tax returns coming around. People are feeling a little bad about things. They've had a few paychecks under their belt since the holidays, so they've kind of recouped. And these months are really great timing for that particular, drivers. And when I get into summer months, I get a lot more kids scheduled because they know what their schedule is. They aren't in school. It makes it easier. And people sometimes worry, well, don't they have like summer camps and family reunions? You do, but those are pretty much
once a week.
Planned.
Yeah, they're planned.
So you know what weeks those are happening, and you don't have to worry about taking them out of school and those things. So every kind of part of the year has a different message, and what I see a lot of people make a mistake is they with some other print houses is what they'll do is they pre-print like 50,000 cards or 100,000 cards all at once
because it's more efficient, right, price wise. Yep.
You save a couple pennies per card, but the problem is, what if it doesn't work after 2 or 3 mailings? You're stuck mailing the same thing over and over and over again. And it just drives me nuts. So for me, absolutely, it's worth the extra penny to be able to be more agile and nimble in your design. So it's always current, whether it's right now around tax team or beat the summer rush, or whatever that the summer new patient special, join our in-house plan. Whatever angle we're going at with that design. Yep.
No, I think those are some good tips that most practices probably don't think of. So I think this has been an awesome episode, man. You've been extremely helpful and knowledgeable on the subject. Let's talk about your company a little bit.
Okay.
What you guys kind of you're like a tech direct mail marketing company? Is that safe to say?
Yeah.
So
no, I like that. Direct mail. I literally just got this testimonial last week from this office. It's a startup office down in North Carolina, and she's just so sweet. This doctor, and huge leap of faith. Opening her own startup, and
we know how that goes.
Yeah, right.
Hell yeah,
and she. We've been through it, being a startup, so to speak, in my sense, there's a lot of work that goes into it and a lot of risk. And anyway, she wrote something to me that I kind of laugh about. She said in her testimonial, she said, when I first talked to you, I thought direct mail was something that was so archaic. And I liked that word, and that's why I've now said it twice. And I don't know that I've said it in years before over the last couple of years. But it really resonated with me because that's what she thought until she actually saw the results and how they were, brought in. So we've taken this old archaic, for lack of better words, product, and we've brought tech to it. The way our software is incredible. And, my business partner, Mark Delore, is just incredibly gifted, and he's built some really cool tools. We both have years and years working in this space, and to be able to pin drop and target these neighborhoods and these homes for a practice on the front end, and then be able to track every incoming call, and then post mailing, go back and we pin drop where all your new patients came from the mailings too. So there's like that audit that I was talking about where we match all the data.
Yeah.
And we actually have a mobile app. So from your phone, you can see every call you get, every appointment, where they called from, what design they called from. So mobile app in direct mail, no one else out there has that.
No.
And
that
we
shares
also
that
have a desktop
data
dashboard. Yeah, and it's right from your phone. Literally, you can be getting your oil changed. I know how busy dentists are. My father-in-law's one. I have cousins and uncles that are them, and we're trying to build a solution. Once again, one product, one industry, ridiculously better than anyone else. That's what drives us.
Yeah, no, I love it. I think it's so cool that you guys are making direct mail marketing, a tech, software, using software and analytics. I think it's so rad. So any of our listeners, if they are interested in contacting you and checking out what you guys are doing, what's the best contact info, from website to phone number, email?
Yeah. So let me just start from the beginning. So MVP Mailhouse is our website.com, and you can call my direct line, and I'll give you that. I actually prefer to talk. Yeah, we have a team that works through all this, but I actually, for your listeners too, I'll personally work through an initial kind of proposal and plan and kind of show them their area and give them strategy advice, all 100% complimentary. Like I want you to have a good plan and understand it. So my direct line is 877-410-2887.
Cool.
Once again, 877-410-2887. And my email is aaron@mvpmailhouse.com.
Perfect. Awesome. So check out Aaron's website. Email him if you have questions or want to chat with him, and call him as well. If any of my users of BoomCloud are listening to this, I would recommend checking out Aaron's service because direct mail, from what I have seen, can be a wonderful way to grow your dental membership program and get a good chunk of recurring revenue going into your practice. So reach out to Aaron and ask him questions. And do you do like a demo or anything with people?
So I like to schedule just like maybe a 15 to 20 minute demo. I'll send you a share screen link.
Cool.
And literally, I'll pull up your location. I'll come over our mapping. Now, I won't have your pins yet until you run me that list.
Yeah.
But I'll show you the demographics of it. I walk you right through our I call it a scoreboard. Most people just call it a dashboard, but I like sports. So I'll walk you through the scoreboard. You can see the mobile app all right from this demo. And like I said, for your listeners, I'll personally do that. Schedule it with them myself.
Perfect, man. No, I'm excited. So go do that today. Ben, do you have any final thoughts? I know you've been chilling there. Is he there? Maybe he's sleeping.
He took some early NyQuil.
Yeah.
He took some NyQuil.
He took some NyQuil and he's out. So anyways, reach out to Aaron. Aaron, thanks so much for coming on our show today. This has been fantastic, man.
Yeah, that was good. Hopefully there were some tips there that could help everyone. So awesome.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much. Appreciate it, Jordan.
All right, rock on.